Two cows are bedded down about 30 yards for us. Can't move, feels like we can't even breathe. We've been hiking since 4 a.m. We're at 10,000 feet. My legs are burning, my lungs are burning. I'm just trying to keep the camera steady while the guide pulls the bugle tube. The bull stands up. And what happens in the next 30 seconds is why I made this video. Not because of what went right, but because it didn't. So if you're new here, my name is Mike London. I'm an outdoors and adventure filmmaker. So a little backstory. I got to film an elk hunt in Montrose, Colorado. For me, it was a chance to shoot a type of content that I love, long form outdoor documentary, but for something I've never shot before. Usually I'm doing things fishing related, bass fishing, saltwater fishing. Don't get the chance to do hunting that often. Documentary is my favorite because it's real moments, real stakes, and there's no script. Pictures just don't do it justice. I filmed a lot of places, but this place is just different. From our camp, you could just see the elk on the sides of the hills. There's no lights, there's no people, just endless mountains. I just remember thinking, okay, this is gonna be special. I just need to be ready to capture it. Here's something that I wasn't fully ready for. Even though I trained, I wasn't fully ready for, was the physical demand of the shoot. Every morning would start at 4 a.m. We would load the Ranger up, drive a couple miles up the trail, start hiking. The goal was to be in position by the time the sun comes up. That's when the elk are moving. And when I say hiking, I don't mean on the trail. I mean climbing through timber, going through thorn bushes, side hilling ridges, all with camera gear, water, lenses, camera bodies, food, anything that you'll need during that day, extra layers of clothes, and you do all that at 10,000 feet. I'm in decent shape, but the altitude is definitely humbling. The air is thinner, your lungs are working harder. I was feeling it in my legs and my chest, and it really starts to affect the way you think creatively. Because here's the thing about documentary work in the field, especially when you're struggling, your brain just shifts into like survival mode. You kind of stop thinking about storytelling and composition. You're really just trying to keep up with them. Just trying to be in the right spot while it happens. And you have no idea when that could be. It could be in the first hour, the first night, or even day 5. You just never know when something's coming around the corner, coming up the trail, coming over the ridge. You just always have to be ready. So you hike, you glass, you wait, you hike again, sunrise to sunset, and then you do it all over again the next day. But here's the other side of it, the part that makes it worth it. There'd be mornings when we would just sit on a ridge for 2 to 3 hours glassing and just watching the light change, watching the shadows move across the valley. And in those moments, I wasn't really thinking about work. I was just there, taking it all in. So the first couple days, we didn't see anything, but on day 3, we've been hiking since before first light. We covered so much ground. Saw elk, saw a bear, glassed a whole bunch of the country. Around midday, we were walking down this old logging road, and we were there earlier, but as we were leaving, we heard a bugle behind us, so we decided to ease back in. So our guides are in front, we're walking down this path, and then out of nowhere, these 2 cows were bedded down in the grass. You could barely see them. They didn't see us, so we just froze. This is the part for me where I just pressed record, and I was gonna capture whatever happened. I wasn't gonna be worried about recording in the right moment. I just pressed record and just let things unfold. It felt like an eternity, but finally they stood up and started easing back into the woods, so our guide pulled out the bugle tube and let out a call. And soon after this bugle, a big 5x5 stood up in the woods and started coming across to the logging path. Everything happened so fast, from when the bull stood up to coming across the logging path. It came to the edge, had 1 foot out. I'm just sitting there trying to get the shot of the hunter pulling back the arrow while trying to keep the elk in focus too. And I was probably at like F4, which is probably shallower than I should have been. But I got the hunter pulling back, and then right before he shot, I made sure the focus was on the elk. It was a very tough shot. The elk only had one of its legs out on the path, and he only had like this really small hole to shoot through. And what felt like slow motion was he shot it, and it just barely grazed over the elk's back, and he shot into the woods. and he was gone, just like that. We were all just standing there, and all I was thinking was, I really hope I got that on footage. I really hope both the hunter was in focus and the elk was in focus, because that's a shot that you don't want to miss. That could be the only encounter of the entire week. I was so nervous until we got back later that day to check the footage. That's all I could think about. The rest of the time that we were out there, that's all I could think about. It feels easy when you watch it, but when you experience it, that's a lot harder. But in the moment, everything's instinct. It's a lot harder to process in real time. So, what did I take away from the shoot? 1, roll on everything. I know that sounds obvious, but I mean everything. The quiet moments, the intense moments, moments that you think you might not even use. Because when the climax doesn't go the way you planned, and in wildlife, most of the time it doesn't, these moments that you thought you would never use become most of your film. 2, make sure to get your interviews. After every day out in the country, I would have them run through from what happened first thing in the morning to the last thing when we left. I made sure I got how they were feeling, their headspace. That audio kind of carried the edit when maybe the action fell short. 3, the story is never what you think it's gonna be. I thought I was making a film about killing an elk, when really the story was the pursuit, the camaraderie, the heartbreak, and the beauty of being in a place where most people will never get to experience. And that's a better story. I wouldn't have found it if I stuck to my shot list. The full film is gonna be linked below. Check it out if you like. I'm really proud of how it turned out, not because everything went to plan, but because it didn't. If you filmed any hunts or any wildlife, I wanna hear your stories. What's the shot that got away? Did you learn anything from it? Drop a comment. And if this kind of behind the scenes content is useful, let me know. I've got more of these coming. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.